Hey guys, I'm Varalika and I'm very excited today because I'll be talking to you guys about applying to vet schools in the UK and the whole process of application and getting in. I hope you enjoyed the video. So today I'll be collaborating with my friend Ashni, who studies in University of Queensland, also doing veterinary medicine. So, I will start off by introducing myself. As I said, I'm Varalika and now I'm studying as a first year student in the Royal Veterinary College in London.
Hi everyone, I'm Ashni and I'm a veterinary medicine student at the University of Queensland in Australia, Brisbane. So the reason why Varalika and I decided to make this video was because we noticed that a lot of people don't really know the application process of getting into vet school, especially students who want to go to school outside of their country, so international students. So Varalika is a student in the UK and she goes to the Royal Veterinary College, and I'm a student in Australia who goes to the University of Queensland. So we decided to kind of compare and just talk about the application process in Australia and in the UK. So she will be talking about UK and I'll be talking about Australia.
So I'm going to start with high school requirements. I did my 10th grade in the CBSE local board in India. The RVC requires you to go to IB or A levels to progress further in your application. So after 10th grade, I did my A levels for 11th and 12th grade. So the grade requirements for A levels are compulsory A in biology, a compulsory A in chemistry, and the third subject can be any other science subject. It can be math, and you require an A in the third subject as well. I applied to other colleges in the UK as well, such as Edinburgh, Nottingham, Glasgow. You can only apply to 4 veterinary medicine courses in the UK. The fifth one, UCAS, requires you to apply to a different one. So I did ethics and animal welfare as my safety. To apply to UK, you go through the UCAS system. It's the online system of application, so it's very straightforward. It's not much of a long process, but it's very detailed. It's basically all online. You apply to all the colleges in the UK vet schools through the UCAS system.
So let's get into high school requirements. In Australia, the high school requirements differ depending on each university. You'll have to go onto their page and see, but basically the best idea is to take biology, chemistry and maths as your subjects in high school, because those are the prerequisites for veterinary medicine. And Australia is quite flexible with whichever board you take, whether it's CBSE or ISE or A levels. They're quite flexible, and all of that works, but it's best to check which university you're interested in and check their requirements for high school.
Okay, so the other requirements other than grade requirements, which are extremely important, are your SOP and your work experience. So your SOP is basically your statement of purpose. And vet schools want to know who you are as a person. They want to know if you have the skills, ability, the experience to become a vet student and successfully progress in vet school. So the SOP has a word limit, which you would find on UCAS. It can be structured in different ways. They want to test your creative ability, and they want to get a look into who you are as a person and your extracurricular activities, the work experience you've done so far that makes you fit to apply to vet school, and your attributes, what you can offer to the profession. Your work experience now. So work experience to apply to the RVC is 70 hours in a clinical setting. That's basically working in a small animal practice or a large animal practice with shadowing veterinarians. And I recommend on work experiences to always write down things you don't understand. This really, really, really helps you in the interview process. The other 70 hours is a non-clinical placement volunteer scenario. So You can volunteer in a zoo, in a national park, in kennels. Very important to note, all this experience must be done 18 months prior to your application. So it is recommended to have experience over the years as well, but it won't be considered for the application. It may differ for each college, the work experience requirements in the UK. So this can be found on their website very easily. Interviews is different for each college in the UK again. So for the RVC in Edinburgh, the interviews setting was MMI. That's multiple mini interview formatted. It's basically involves different stations and each station tests a different skill you have. It could be communication, it could be work experience, it could be prioritization, it could be how you think in a real life setting. So they send you all of this prior to your interview. All the information is sent. And from India, I had to fly to Singapore to attend the Royal Veterinary College interview, and I had to fly to Malaysia to attend the interview for Edinburgh. For Glasgow, it was a traditional situation interview, it was via Skype. The interviewer would ask you a question and you would answer it to the best of your ability. So again, it's very important to make notes during your work experience and read up on latest developments in the vet field.
Now getting more into application requirements. So I applied to 4 vet schools in Australia, and they each had different application requirements. Unlike the UK, where everything goes through UCAS, in Australia it's very different. You have to apply separately to each university. So that's why each university has different requirements. Some ask for an interview, some don't. Some ask for an essay to kind of just explain why you want to get into vet school, why you're suited best for this profession. Some ask for a questionnaire, some ask for something called a Casper test. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the University of Queensland and what are the requirements. So work experience is not a requirement in the University of Queensland. It's mainly academic based. You have to have good grades and you have to complete something called the Casper test, which is a situational judgment test. So basically, like Varalika explained about the MMI interviews, which is an in-person interview, the Casper test is a written test version of the MMI. So like the MMI, they give you a different situation and they just want to see how you behave and act in a ethical dilemma situation. So the Casper test is a written test. It's a total of, I think, 1.5 hours, and it's an online test. You will be given many different situations. I'm pretty sure it's 12 situations, and you have 5 minutes to answer each situation. So they don't take spelling into consideration when you're typing really fast, and you have a 10-minute break in the middle to drink water, go to the bathroom, or whatever you want to do. So that's one of the tests that you need to get into University of Queensland. Okay, now let's talk about University of Adelaide. So in University of Adelaide, there's a lot more that goes into the application process. They will first check your grades to see if you met the prerequisites, the biochemistry, math prerequisites. Then they will send you a questionnaire. In the questionnaire, they will ask you all about your work experience. So they do require experience, whether you've worked in a small animal practice, in a large animal practice, what has it been exactly? Is it volunteering? Have you interned? Is it an actual job that you did? They also have a section on your hobbies. So you also have to talk about other interests apart from veterinary medicine, whether you're into any sports, whether you're into anything creative like art or dance or anything like that. Based on that questionnaire, they will ask you for an interview. So it's a Skype interview and it's quite informal. They just want to know why you want to exactly get into this field. Are you fit for the workload that is thrown at you in vet school, because it's a lot of work. So they just want to know if you're ready for it. They will ask you some questions based on what they've seen in your questionnaire. So they'll ask you about, like, for example, I worked in a small animal practice, so they had asked me about what exactly I did there, what was my experience over there. Try not to sound perfect, because they don't want a perfect student. They just want to know if you're passionate about the profession, and if you've done enough of work experience to show that you're passionate about it, and if you're ready for the workload and the commitment that comes with this profession. University of Melbourne. So University of Melbourne is a bit different. It's a bit similar to the US system, where you do an undergrad, which is a Bachelor of Science degree, and then you do a Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. So it's just, again, grade based. Murdoch University, they do ask for an essay, so you just have to talk about all your experience, why you want to go into this profession, why you feel like you're best suited to be a veterinarian, and where your interests lie, and all of that.
So English language requirements for international students is a very important thing. If you don't take English language in your A levels or in your IB, you are required to have a supplementary test, which is the TOEFL, or you can take your IELTS as well. But if you take English language in your A level, then it's a B is required. A B or an A is minimum requirement. IELTS 7.5 is the pass mark, and in each section, again, it's a different pass mark. So it's important to check the requirements before applying.
Now for the English language requirements, same as the UK, you require a 7.5 overall in the IELTS English language test. It's just to see whether you can speak English, and if you're good with English, and you can keep up with the content that they teach you.
So coming to fees for an international student, it's roughly around £36,000 per year. So this can change again. And this is not including your living expenses.
Now for fees, so I'm not too sure about all the other schools and what their fees is, but it should be around the same. For University of Queensland, the indicative annual fees is $66,592 Australian dollars. So that's the international fees. It's a 5-year degree. To be more specific, the degree is called Bachelor of Veterinary Science Honours Program, which is a 5-year program. University of Adelaide has a 6-year program, so you do 3 years of Bachelor of Veterinary Bioscience, and then you do 3 years of Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. University of Melbourne has 3 years of Bachelor of Science, and then 4 years of Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. Murdoch University has 5 years of veterinary medicine. University of Sydney has 5 years of veterinary medicine. James Cook University has 5 years of veterinary medicine. So apart from University of Melbourne, all the other universities in Australia have a 5 or 6 year degree. Now for scholarships, there are a wide range of scholarships available. It's not only academic. You can have a sports scholarship. You can help with research for certain topics, and you can get a scholarship for that. So there are many different scholarships. Sometimes the government just helps out international students from third world countries with their fees, and they give you a scholarship. So there are lots of scholarships available. Just apply to as many as possible, and hopefully you'll get at least 1 or 2.
Job prospects is important as well. After graduating from vet school, you can specialize in the species, so in different species. So if you want to specialize with wildlife or aquatics or companion animals, you could potentially do that. So in medicine, we do a residential program. As far as I know, it's another year after graduating what you have to do before you can actually work privately. But in vet school, it's an advantage to us because we don't have to do a residency program after graduating. So after 5 years, we can directly start working.
So jobs. So because it's a growing profession, employability is quite high. It's quite easy for you to get a job right after you graduate. And the perks of veterinary medicine, Varalika also mentioned this, is that there's no residency. So after you graduate, you're a veterinarian, you can, start working, open your own practice. If you want, you can specialize in something. A perk of being a veterinarian, that once you're a veterinarian, you are everything. You are an ophthalmologist, you're a dentist, you're a cardiologist, you're everything. You're qualified to do everything. You can specialize, but it's not a requirement.
Coming to accreditations, so I basically applied to only the vet schools in the UK which was accredited by the American Veterinary Medical Association Board. This is the AVMA. So this is so that it'll be easier for me to work in the USA after I graduate from these schools. Different vet schools are accredited to different boards. So the RVC is accredited to AVMA and the Australian Veterinary Association Board. So this makes it very easy after graduation to work in these countries.
One last thing, very important, make sure that the university that you end up going to for vet school is accredited. So accredited means that if it's accredited by the certain boards, so there's the AVMA, which is the American Veterinary Medical Association, then there is the Royal College of Vet Surgeons, and then there's the Australasian Veterinary Boards Council. So these are the boards. My university is accredited by all three of those boards. So that's the US board, the UK board, and the Australia Asia board. It means that your degree is good enough to get a job in another country. Like the medicine that your university is teaching you is up there with these countries, so you can work anywhere. So it's just good to go to a university that is accredited by at least one of these boards.
I just want to tell you common misconceptions about vet school. So people come in with a mindset that animals are going to be the primary individuals who we're going to work with. Of course, vets love animals, but it is very much about the people as well, because once you become a vet, then you're very much day-to-day interacting with people, communicating with them, because your animals can't talk. So it is a consultation going on every day. So it's very important to show great empathy towards people as well and never disregard that. I'm extremely proud if you chose to pursue this field. And I have put my email ID and my Instagram handle in the description below. If you have any questions at all, and if this video helped, please comment and please feel free to reach out to me with any queries you have, or just want to talk about the vet field and what the profession has to offer. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that this was helpful to someone who is interested in applying for veterinary medicine. And I'm going to put my Instagram handle in the description. So if you have any more questions or just want to talk about the whole application process again, then feel free to DM me and I'll always reply. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Bye.